You with me? Come on, man. I need you to focus.
Glory be to those abs.
You ready to go head-to-head with the heavies?
Even your veins have muscles.
All right. Ready? Let's get started. Ah!
That was footage of me and Tyler's early morning workout session before our Coffee and VR episode.
Yep. That's why we're a couple minutes behind. Sorry about that, guy.
A little bit of a ridiculous video to start us off. That is actually a VR game that we are going to get into a little later in the show. We just thought it would be a good intro for today to start us off. Kind of ridiculous. But we got a bunch of stuff today. We are going to touch on some of the OC6 stuff. We did have a special episode just on the OC6, but there's still much to talk about still, so we're going to get into that. We're going to get into some lo-fi on the Index firsthand. Also some lo-fi on Quest, which is definitely a possibility now, which we'll get into that. We got some Pistol Whip stuff to talk about, some Rift S VR cover stuff. I mean, there's a ton of stuff. A couple new game announcements. Yeah, a couple things that kind of came out around OC6 but weren't focused on. So
sure. I know. Yeah. I mean, I'm kind of surprised, Valve wasn't the company that tried to steal the thunder, I don't think, this year.
Yeah, we didn't hear anything from them. They were quiet.
Well, but really, I mean, Pimax kind of took that seat, I feel like. Yeah. I feel like they were trying to head that off, Yeah,
I mean, they did their whole Pimax day right beforehand, and we actually have MRTV in chat now, which he'll be able to touch on some of the Pimax stuff in chat for sure. So we'll definitely get into some Pimax stuff.
He's working on a video right now on getting out he has the 8K Plus in hand right now. So he hopefully should have that out pretty soon.
And I think he's getting the 8KX as well, too. So I'm really curious about that 8KX. We do have some image comparisons and stuff, some stuff to talk about on that. It's really cool. So
might have to jump on that one. I'm excited about.
You've been talking about Pimax for a while. Yeah, you've been really wanting. I mean, now's the perfect time. We got the base stations. You got the Index controllers. Since the Sword controllers are delayed, I think it's March now that they're not coming out till. So I mean, it's you get the headset, you got the base stations, you got your Index controllers, be good to go. So. Definitely a possibility.
I feel bad for some of the backers, actually, of some of the Pimax stuff. I feel like they get slighted. I mean, you wait so long, and then it's like, oh, here's, all these accessories we promised you for free for backing, but you got to pay $100 or $199
that's for I believe for the eye tracking module and stuff. They're still getting a lot of the stuff, and they still do get, like, the first shipments and stuff, so there's definitely still a lot of perks of being the backer, but... Yeah,
and they're doing other stuff too that they, didn't even know about. I think like the coin ban, I'm pretty sure is free even for backers.
Yeah, and there's some discounts too for already being a Pimax owner. There's a bunch of different discount stuff you can apply.
Well, and they have a trade-in program now too.
Yeah. No, you still get to keep it. I believe it's a trade-in program, but you still get to keep the product. Right. Yeah, so that's actually really cool. So unfortunately, I don't have one to do that with yet, but that is definitely something we might have to look into. I mean, Cosmos is coming out, next week? Yeah, Thursday of next week, Cosmos is coming out, so... Yeah, I don't know.
Trade your Rift S in.
Hey, there you go. There you go. That's what they need to do. Rift S trade-in program for a Pimax. That makes total sense.
For a Pimax? Oh, that would be sweet. Oh man, yeah.
So MRTV
they should do that. GoPro did that. You could trade any camera.
Any camera
off a GoPro.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Maybe they'll do that. MRTV said the 8K plus video will come out really soon. So
nice. That's awesome.
He said he's got to go back to working on that video. See ya. Way to scare him off.
It happens. I know.
That's awesome.
Trust me, I'm as excited to see it as anybody else. I mean, I just want to get my hands on it. Maybe when he's done with it, he can ship it overseas here. I'll try it out.
There you go.
Because, man,
we need to go do that MRTV experience. And if he's still in here, I'm really looking forward to my MRTV mug. I don't have that in hand yet. Hopefully that comes out here pretty soon for the Kickstarter. Yep. But we might as well just go ahead and get into some Pimax stuff. I mean, we already started talking about it.
Sure.
So we do have some pictures, some comparison stuff. For the Pimax. This is the 8KX versus the 5K plus screen, which is pretty shocking. Like, I mean, looking at these images, and I believe these are through the lens images that Sweeviver put out.
They are.
And, through the lens pictures are, kind of hard to trust. I mean, they're, somewhat trustworthy, but until you really see it yourself, you know what I mean? Because obviously when you're in the 5K plus, the screen doesn't look that horrible. You know what I mean? That's kind of, the picture makes the screen of the 5K plus look a lot worse than what it actually does, I'm sure, in the headset. But
Yeah, it's tough for the autofocus for cameras too. When it's more pixelated, it wants to focus on that. So it's
a tough thing to do, but it still gives you. I mean, if you look at this picture, it's pretty dramatic. I mean, that's a big difference. But this AKX is supposed to be true 4K panels. I mean,
right, native 4K.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty impressive. And still doing the wide field of view. Like, it's pretty crazy. I'm really curious once, especially like Sebastian and stuff starts getting their hands on these, to see how well these things are going to run, on video cards that we have today.
It won't run. I don't think it won't run the true native 4K though in the wide field of view.
Right. I think
it's going to be cut down, low hertz, and cut down to I think it was, I don't know. I think 130, 140, maybe something like that.
I can't remember.
Which is still, I think they said it's still whatever it was 20% bigger than what most headsets are.
Yeah, and it's on lower hertz. It's not on a 90 hertz, but that can be upscaled. You can get 90 hertz out of it, they said. So it'll be interesting to see how it runs. I'm definitely curious to see. We also do have an AKX and an Index, which this one doesn't seem to be as dramatic, but the clarity that you can see on some of these gauges. I mean, especially the bottom left corner. I mean, the clarity is really impressive.
Yep, your heading. Yeah, it's a big difference. I mean, and that's a lot when it comes to, I know with X-Plane, man, you got to lean in or use the button to do like the quick zoom on it to really look at the gauges. But yeah, that's huge. I mean, just to be able to glance down at gauges, not to lean in, that would be awesome.
Right.
Really.
And Greg's VR said Pimax is bleeding edge with bleeding edge problems. So
it is.
I mean, but luckily with the thing with them is they are pushing the boundaries, where a lot of these other headsets aren't trying to get this massive field of view with this super high resolution panels. I mean, I'm glad somebody's doing it. We've seen with Oc6 that Oculus's whole focus is on the Quest. I mean, that's, for sure it's on the Quest, which, I mean, I understand in a sense. It makes sense for what they're trying to achieve, but I am glad that there is a company that's really pushing the boundaries and really, I mean, they are making advancements. I mean, they do have issues, like they have issues that they have to overcome, and they even talked about that with the eye tracking, with making that eye tracking work with those lenses. It has to be specially made to work with a lens that's that big, which is,
Yeah, throws it all off. I get that. Yeah, some VR Spry guy in chat was saying that he was a backer of Pimax and he sold it because of comfort, but may get the 8K plus, which I know they are going to have that strap and stuff now. And I think with is it the R? I think you get the head strap and the modular headphones. You have some of the. Yeah, this should list them.
Honestly, I mean, one of the things with Pimax that kind of bothers me is a little bit is they just have so many products. Like they have so many products, so many variations, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but it's really hard to keep up with. And they're constantly changing things, so it is hard to keep up with some of that stuff.
Which one works with which and stuff.
Yeah,
and,
so it is.
I know.
But the one thing
I like that. I think that's great. I think we need more of that. Instead of taking a back seat, not a back seat like Oculus, but just, a slower rate, they're pushing it. So you're going to have issues.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Valve with the Index. We had issues out of the box with that, and we're paying for a premium headset from a company who knows what they're doing with this stuff, and they still have issues. So there's just so much tech built into these that you're gonna have something. It's just
still a market that's still ever evolving, and that there's so many mountains to overcome in all of this for sure. But,
variables.
I mean, one of the things that was really exciting to me is the whole 7 Invensun eye tracking module, and that's the same one that HTC Cosmos announced that they're going to be using. And Pimax actually said that it's going to be doing dynamic foveated rendering, so it's actually going to be doing what we've been wanting for a long time, where it'll focus, on where you're actually looking, and that's where the clarity is going to be, and it won't be as clear on the outer edges and all that stuff. But that should save a lot on GPU and computer performance if that works out as well as they think. And they talked about that same eye tracking module on the Cosmos, but I haven't heard them particularly say it's going to have dynamic foveated rendering. I'm not sure. I'm guessing it will. Like, obviously that module is capable of doing it, so that'll be interesting. But this is the image for the 8K plus, and these are all from Sweeviver, which he is actually working with Pimax now, so he gets all that info straight from them. So
yeah, I'm definitely, I don't know, man. I don't know which one I would want to go for. I probably want the R, except my fear is like PC side.
You mean?
What's going to be able to handle it,
The R is the ruggedized edition, I think. So you mean the AKX? The AKX is
X,
the 4K,
I'm sorry,
4K.
X.
Yeah, that's
I'm
what I
sorry,
mean.
yeah,
There's
yeah.
so many products, and then
I
you have
know.
the R is like the ruggedized edition, where it's
is.
all has a lot more molding stuff on the inside and rubberized coating to where it can be dropped.
Right.
And they've done a bunch of drop testing with
Yeah,
it.
I don't think
and
they don't
waterproof.
actually have the 8K and the R, do they? Just the 5.
I don't even know, to be honest. I think any of them you can get in the R version. They just have to be like special ordered, and because they can do a bunch of custom stuff with it. I'm not sure, to be honest. We still have a lot to learn, but so with the 8K Plus, you have the 65, 72, or 90 hertz refresh rate, and then the max is the 200 degree field of view and 170 degree field of view horizontal. So, and these are all LCD panels. So the pixel layout, it's should be very low screen door effect.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Crazy. I know. I just want to see one. I wish I could just see one, in hand. I feel like that would change my mind on everything.
Yeah,
I really do.
We just need to go to Germany. We got to go do the MRTV
That's
experience.
True.
So
We've been talking about trying to schedule some trips since we missed Oc6 this year. So.
Yeah, I think next year we'll definitely try to get to some more stuff. I don't know if we'll get to Germany next year, but definitely maybe. We'll see what happens.
Never know.
But so this is the AKX, and it is a 75 hertz refresh rate native 4K signal. So they talked about being able to upscale that to 90 hertz, and I don't know how all that's going to work yet. But this is 3840 by 2160 each panel. So I mean that's pretty impressive. I mean, that's pretty crazy. I would love to see what that looks like for sure.
That's a huge gain. I mean, that's night and day difference there.
Yeah.
And that's what I mean. I feel like the second you try this, it's just going to be so overwhelming. Go back to something is going to look like tunnel vision.
Yeah, it is.
And that's
crazy.
my fear. Like say I get this and it looks amazing and doesn't work well, it doesn't perform well, break something, and I have to go back to like a Rift
That's
index.
the thing that scares me too.
I know. Is it going to ruin that?
And I mean, I want the full, 4K by 4K at the full field of view with foveated rendering, so I can run it smoothly. Like I want all of it. That's the dream, is to have all of that. And hopefully with the dynamic foveated rendering, hopefully that's going to be some sort of a possibility. That's
what I'm wondering. And if not now, maybe in the future with software updates.
Right.
I really think so. And they have been working on software. It's not that they stalled on all that. So
yeah.
They have a lot of actually software releases coming out, new PyTool and stuff. So yeah, they're working hard on it. They really are.
Yeah.
Actually, VR Spry guy, speaking of, he said he got rid of his. So, I wonder what if, he can comment to live in chat was it a big leap going back now, or were you happy, or what did you go to?
Yeah.
Did you go to an
did he say which one he had?
Yeah.
The 5K plus?
He didn't. No.
Yeah.
I'm curious though. So. Yeah, it's probably my next jump. I mean, I don't see any other headset in the near future that I would want past that. Yeah. I really don't.
Yeah, I don't know. And Anakaze said, I think they said higher refresh rates would be limited to the smaller field of view settings.
Yeah.
And that's probably correct.
They did. Yeah, they did.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
So, and Jim Hall said 8KX needed a dual card driver and PyTools, which is something I thought about, running two GPUs, one for each eye, basically.
Sure.
Each screen, it would make sense, and it should be able to run it a lot better. But I don't think that's, as far as I know, that's not something they're doing. But yeah, I don't know. So be interesting to see. I definitely would like to get my hands on one. They are a little pricey, but yeah, I mean, you got to pay the premium if you want the high end stuff. So
it's true. That is just the headset.
Yeah, that's just the headset. I mean, those prices we just showed are just headset. That's not, base stations, controllers, nothing. But luckily, if you already have base stations and controllers, it does help. But that's still, I mean, so if you didn't have that stuff, that would be crazy money, I think, to have to buy all that stuff on top of it. That's just kind of crazy. But
yeah, that would be tough. But I get it. I mean, it's new, top of the line, cutting edge.
Right.
Just still a little scary. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. True that.
Yeah. Now what are you looking for? Dual graphics cards. Oh my gosh, come on. I don't need another 2080.
Yeah, I know. I want one, but yeah, it's a little too expensive.
Gosh, killing me here. And the headset and another graphics card.
So I guess let's go ahead and get into a little bit of the Oculus stuff from Oc6. We did have a whole show on that, so if you want to go back and watch some of the stuff that whoops, I didn't mean to switch to this one. But if you want to watch more of our thoughts on Oc6, especially day one. Day two, we didn't really get a whole lot. It was really just the Carmack speech, which was awesome as always. I do love listening to Carmack. It was a lot of good information, and he didn't sugarcoat a lot of the things. I feel like
he talks off the cuff. Like, I feel like he talks straight off the cuff, not scripted. I don't know. Maybe not.
Yeah, I'm sure he has some notes because I see him, look down every once in a while. But he's not reading through notes the whole time. I mean, all that stuff is just in his head, which, I mean, the dude's a genius anyway. So,
I know.
But so one of the things, the Oculus Link cable, and that is going to open up a whole lot of doors. I do think I have a picture of the actual cable that they showed. I don't know if this is going to be, the final version or what. I have a feeling it's going to look something like this, but as far as I know, it's going to sell for, I think they said, $79. Yeah, which seems pretty expensive, but we've kind of been doing some research on our own, and
not really.
Yeah, the fiber optic cables and stuff that they're using, with this, it is expensive. It's expensive to do, and supposedly at that price point, they're not making any money, is what they say. They're not making any money off of this product, but yeah. So I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. And as far as I know, when this update comes out in November, this cable's not even going to be ready. It's not going to be ready to ship. So that's going to be interesting.
We hope to have some in our hands so we can do some testing right off the get-go. But yeah, it's too bad they don't have this out for any testing or anything. I'm surprised. I really am.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising that they're going to go ahead and put the update out there, but not have the actual cable ready because
these cables though haven't been. Let's see. I want to think. The first cable was maybe back in like one of the first consumer ones maybe you could buy was maybe back in like March, even when they came, up with this faster, USB connection through optics. So it is newer technology.
Yeah,
so
that's true. So they may still be fine tuning it.
Yeah.
And this this cable is supposed to be, I think, 5 meters, which is what, 16
15
feet?
Yeah, 16
I think
feet,
just over 16 feet, I believe. So that's
something
pretty
like
crazy.
that.
I mean, that's a pretty long cable. Yeah. And I am looking forward to trying this because of the lighter weight of this cable. I mean, that's one thing that I don't love about the Rift S and the Index. Those cables are like carrying a tank off the top of your head. I mean, those cables are heavy. They're big, thick, heavy cables. So this is going to, limit that weight a lot and that pull, on the headsets. It'll be interesting to see.
My huge issue with this, and I wanted to wait to talk to even you about it on here, being that this is fiber optics, you can't bend fiber optics. You cannot kink them. You can't anything. So my fear is having this cable laying and stepping on it, bending it over, getting it twisted. How is that going to work? I myself, because knowing what at least my simple mind knows about fiber optics, I don't see how this could work long term.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Moving around,
And maybe this cable is going to be a lot bigger than what we think. When I think of a USB-C cable, I'm thinking of the cable that comes with the Quest. I'm thinking of that size and that weight. And maybe that's not necessarily going to be the case for the consumer product. Maybe it is going to be a thicker, bigger cable that's better protected, and mimics more the weight and the size of the Rift S cable. I don't know.
And they do make a couple kinds. They make like a steel braided one, which I'm assuming it would at least have to be that. So it's basically lined with like a steel braid inside to keep it from breaking and getting kinked. But I still don't know. We even have problems now, like CD1 cables are dropping like flies, you know what I mean? So to think that this is going to work being that it's fiber optic, I don't know. That's the scary part to me. I'm excited about it because I know the transfer rates are through the roof.
Right. I mean,
they could make this cable 300 feet and it would still work the same. Which that's a pretty cool concept, which we could talk about too.
I know they did talk about some limitations on, I don't know, because they were talking about cables they were talking about being able to use cables that weren't necessarily their cable. And they were talking about, some are going to work differently. Some that they've tested worked well, but were too short, or other ones, were too long and didn't work right. So I don't know if all the ones they were testing were fiber optic, and I don't even know if that's going to be a necessity. Like, I don't know if it's going to work okay without fiber optic, or if it's just not going to work without it.
It doesn't have the transfer rate. It doesn't have the transfer. Well, but here's the thing. We don't have fiber optics in our cables now.
Yeah, but they're not actually. They're still doing the way they're doing it, with some of the processing stuff on the Quest, and they're sending it over and then decoding it, and it's kind of a weird process. But they're not actually fully relying on the output of what a PCVR headset plugged into the GPU. That's not what they're relying on fully. It's a different way of doing it. So I'm not sure if this cable. This cable isn't going to be pushing out as much information as your display port straight from your video card, as far as I understand. And I mean, I don't really fully understand how they're doing all this. It doesn't completely make sense to me, but
a lot of that's software sided. But I mean, it's going to be interesting. I mean, it's going to work because they're already saying it's happening. It's they wouldn't do that if they knew it wasn't possible. But yeah, like people in chat right now are saying too, what about like broken USB-C ports? Like
that's one thing I worry about.
No breakaway, and that's true. I even looked at, there's even the adapters you can put on that are magnetic. For USB-C that you could put onto the headset that would break away. And I thought about things like that, but you want that cable to be supported from the back.
Right. And is that even going to work with a fiber optic cable? I don't know. Like, is that attachment, that magnetic attachment, strong enough or whatever?
It just adds latency as well to the information that's transferred every time you add a connector. So I don't know. It's just
my thought is, and I'm sure people are going to come out with it, or Oculus themselves with the official cable, or they're going to have some kind of clips, and off the back of the headset, they're going to have some kind of strong point where that attaches to. So if you step on it and step away, that it's going to pull on where headset. On the headset and the wire attached, firmly to the headset, not pull it out but if people don't take the time to route it that way, they want to pop in real quick and they just plug it in. I mean, it could mess up the port in your Quest, in that.
Or the computer. You have to anchor that then on the computer as well. I mean, either somewhere on the ground or desk or something. I mean, we don't
really necessarily do that with our headsets too much, but those bigger connections are definitely a little more firm into the PC than a USB-C end. And supposedly you're supposed to be able to use a USB-A on the other end, plugging into the PC as well. So we'll see how that works. I'm sure we're going to get more information. Hopefully they give us, a little bit more of what we're going to for sure need before November, so we can have some stuff ready to check out and try it out. But
we will.
Yeah.
I need to know if it's active or passive, though. That's my only thing. We'll find out. I'm sure we'll get more information.
Yeah, I don't know. So be interesting to see. Another thing we learned is we talked about, the whole 72 hertz of the Quest and the screen panels of 72 hertz. And one thing that we found out was that the Quest actually can do 90 hertz. It is capable of doing 90 hertz. The issue that they run into is that John Carmack talked about it is the FCC rating of the headset. So if they push the panels to 90 hertz, then they have to reapply for an FCC rating and go through that whole thing. And I don't think, he mentioned that that's not something they really want to do. You know what I mean?
I don't think it's really worth it. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know.
The one thing I'm curious about is the hacking possibilities, in a sense. You know what I mean? Like the possibilities of them letting, or even just leaving a back door for people to get in and change that. Is that going to be something? Is that going to be something that companies are going to be able to do with software side to go ahead and crank it up to 90 when it's hooked up to the PC?
Probably not.
I don't know. Another thing you got to worry about is overheating issues. It might get hotter. Like, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, I would like to see it, but I mean, me personally, I don't notice the 72 hertz too much. Like, I don't really notice much of a problem. And everybody that has tried this, with this Oculus Link at Oc6, Anthony from VR365, a couple other people talked about it, and so far the main takeaway was it was impressive. I mean, everybody was impressed. They really didn't notice. I mean, a few people said there was a little bit of latency here or there, a little bit of stuff they noticed, but I'm sure they're still going to improve it more before November, so.
And I think they should keep it down just because of the fact of you want it to run smooth. You want to have a solid product that you do have that, really good, low latency. So the more, you up everything, the more information you're passing, the more everything. If it runs good at that, leave it at that. I mean, it's easier for them to get their product out and look polished. So it doesn't bother me. And if it did, I would say something. So it's
I mean, I think it'll be pretty awesome. And they have to somehow keep the Rift S, I guess, as a, it's got 80 hertz instead of, so maybe that's, it's got a little bit more frames per second than the Quest, but I don't know that they really care about that, to be honest. But so Paradise Decay said that the Quest testing the Link had Velcro to keep the cable in place and not ripping off. So I mean, that's definitely a possibility too. Hopefully they'll come out with some kind of official like clip system or something that will come with the cable. I'm not sure, but
I would hope so. I mean, what's it cost them to make a plastic clip-on part?
Right. Yeah. So
it would help, that's for sure.
The other thing while we're on OC6 is that a lot of the Rift S people are kind of up in arms about the hand tracking, not coming to Rift S. And there is a thing. So basically on Reddit, I saw a thing where they were talking about signing a petition, in a sense, to get the Rift S hand tracking. And John Carmack talked about the user voice feature, and that that they actually look into that and they read that stuff. So a lot of people are signing up for that right now, and I think it's something that they can completely do. I don't understand why they wouldn't just go ahead and do it. I know that I think it was Carmack. I don't remember who mentioned it, but talked about the fact that the geometry changes. So a lot of stuff changes because of the camera layout for both headsets. So that does kind of complicate things. But they also talked about, one of the people talked about developers getting access to it to help, debug some stuff and figure some stuff out. Yeah. So I don't know.
Yeah. PD was just saying in chat that they said they would look into Rift S finger tracking. So he may have talked to somebody who had a little bit of intel. It was on
one of the tested interviews, I believe.
That too.
So Fluke Rogi, he mentioned this earlier. He said in the tested video, the Oculus guy actually said they might enable it as some sort of developer thing to help with development, but they don't seem to want it out there as an actual feature, which is confusing to me. Does that make sense? Yeah.
Why not? What's it hurt? I don't get why you wouldn't want that on a platform that uses the same controllers, the same software. I don't get it.
The only thing that I can kind of think of is maybe it has something to do with the software side. Like maybe they just don't have any games in the works. They don't have any or experiences in the works for the Rift store. Like these are just Quest games.
The cameras are different. The cameras are different. Maybe there's issues with the cameras.
Yeah, I don't know, but I mean, it's definitely possible because they talked about, enabling it for developers.
Right.
I just don't understand why they wouldn't put it out to the public. It doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but
I don't get it either. I know.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's too bad. I mean, it's again,
the whole Rift S thing is kind of weird. The whole Rift S Quest thing is just strange. I'm not sure.
I know. It's too bad. It really is.
But we'll see what happens. I mean, they might go ahead and, enable it and maybe bring some experiences over because it shouldn't be too hard to bring anything from the Quest over to the PC store, for stuff they're working on Quest-wise for hand tracking. So I don't know.
Do you like that picture I posted over on Twitter?
Oh, yeah, the rest in peace Rift S. We actually had that on our show Wednesday after the show. We flashed that image up of the rest in peace for the Rift S.
I just feel so bad. I know. I really do. I mean,
somebody made like a whole news article, newspaper headline with the same thing with the Rift S on the tombstone and stuff. They kind of stole your idea a little bit, but they put some work into it. It was pretty good, actually.
That's how the internet goes, man.
Oh, yeah. There's so many memes flying around right now, with just Rift S stuff and all that. It's kind of crazy. So
I know.
But yeah, I mean, I love my Quest, and somebody else just said, Oliver Chappell just said, liking my Quest. It's a great product. I mean, I'm still excited about all this stuff. I mean, Oculus is still pretty much leading the way of VR development and stuff. They're not pushing the super high-end PC stuff like Pimax is, but they're definitely pushing forward on a lot of fronts that I think need to be pushed forward
and stuff
on,
I feel like that will be a large adoption too. Not everybody's going to want the eye tracking and the hand tracking modules and everything. Not everybody, but when the whole mass market has it, like on Quest, then everybody can try it. Everybody can do it, interact the same experience. So
and there's some really cool stuff I think they'll be able to do with that, like experience wise, like the spell casting games and like stuff like that. There's gonna be some really interesting stuff that they should be able to do, and like even
training.
Training stuff. That's what I was thinking.
Oh, it'd be killer.
Yeah, and even like almost location based stuff to where you could have things that are in a certain place that don't move, and you can map them that actually have buttons that when you're in VR have an overlay of those buttons that you have to do, and if it's lined up perfectly and if they can pull it off, to where you could actually push that button in the game and you actually feel the button that you're pushing. That's pretty cool. One of the things PD did a Quest game in a haunted cellar. I think it was Dread Halls. He was playing that, and one of the parts in the video, he talked about how, like, in the game, he put his hand up, and the ceiling was really low, so he actually hit the ceiling in the game, or in the real world, and it was pretty similar to where it was in the game, and that kind of stuff is just almost spooky. When you feel like when you see something in the game and then something in the real world matches up, it's just like, whoa, like, what is real?
So gaming science teacher made a really good point. She said, I wonder if Oculus is worried about them putting something with hand tracking in the same store that people with the original Rift would own, like a CV1. And that's a good point, because how can you offer games to people that can't play it? So
that's a very good point. That's one thing that they've talked about when they came out with the Rift S. They said that Rift S isn't going to have any experiences that you can't still play on your CV1, because like some people were mad that this Rift S came out and it really wasn't a huge upgrade, and they all this other stuff, or they just bought a CV1 and now Rift S came out, and they did mention that. They said all the stuff that's going to be available for Rift S you'll still be able to play on CV1. I actually never thought of that. That is actually that's probably has a lot to do with it, I would think.
I'd say that's the biggest point made right there.
I never even thought of that. So
yeah, no.
Very interesting stuff. We will definitely see what comes of it, but
I know. So. Yeah, PD was saying about the length of wearing. He said Oculus really needs to work on comfort issue. I can wear Oculus Quest for about, assuming, I don't know, maybe an hour or something before it becomes uncomfortable. Rift S 5 to 6 hours without any discomfort. But yeah, and I would agree. I mean, the Rift S is amazingly comfortable. It really is.
Yeah.
And then you go to the Quest, and I feel like you have to do stuff to it to make it comfortable.
Yeah.
Now, luckily, there is plenty of stuff out there.
Nothing official Oculus stuff out there. Unfortunately, Oculus, we expected that, but
sure. But I mean, there's a lot of options. I mean, there's tons of like printable stuff. You can go with the FrankenQuest. You can go with all the VR cover stuff. I mean, now they have basically full strapping. Yeah, a combination of everything. So
the bad thing about the whole headset design stuff is it's so different for everybody. Like to me, the Rift S isn't the most comfortable headset. Like I honestly prefer my CV1 a lot over the Rift S comfort wise, but there's a lot of people that don't feel that way. And even I saw something on Reddit where they were talking about the FrankenQuest. And I mentioned something about how I really love the FrankenQuest for, the Oculus Quest makes it a lot more comfortable. And somebody else said that they had one and they returned it because they found it super uncomfortable, that it like dug into the back of their head and all this stuff. So it's just so different for everybody is that really the problem.
I think a lot of people too don't realize that back strap has to sit low on the back of your head. Everybody wears it like a hat, up high, but you need to transfer that weight. And I think we learned that way early, with the CV1 at least, of where it needs to sit. But I see people all the time have it and it's way up, and it wants to fall forward. So
yeah, I mean, I don't know, but
that's all of it. I know.
It is good that there are options. And honestly, right now, I think there's no better time than now to do the FrankenQuest because now that we're getting PC tethering, we know there's no official Oculus product. Like, I mean, I can understand waiting till after OC6 because I expected some kind of official deluxe audio strap from Oculus. So now it's like, in my opinion, that's the most comfortable way to go. That's the longest play experience I can get out of the Quest is that deluxe audio strap. And VR Cover actually makes a back padding for that deluxe audio strap. Greg's VR posted a thing on our Discord this morning. He actually put the deluxe audio strap on his Rift S, and then he added the VR Cover padding as well to the back, which, that's another good option. And he said a lot of it, it just helps because it's so wipeable now. It's so, there's no foam soaking up sweat. You can wipe it down. It's easy to clean.
That is nice.
But yeah, there are a lot of options for all of that stuff to make it a little more comfortable. And VR Cover did just come out with their covers for the Rift S. This isn't the actual facial interface. This is just covers. It comes with two.
Yep.
I have a couple pictures. Yeah. So here's one on mine. So this is basically a cover that goes, you take the facial interface off, you wrap this around it, but it is soft. I do like it. And it's nice because if you have other people using the headset, you can swap them and then you can throw these things in the washing machine or whatever and clean them. And honestly, to me, with it on, it kind of mimics the feel of the Index. Facial interface a little bit. Like it's kind of similar in material. It is really nice. You get two of them. I believe these are available right now. So
yeah, I keep them actually in my Quest case. So then when I have people try it, throw it on, good to go then. Don't have to worry about it, sweat, anything, back to mine. So
yeah. So they're pretty cool products. So I know a lot of people, I think there was some confusion when these first came out. Everybody was really excited. Like the Rift S facial interface is finally available. And this isn't they're still working on that. That is still coming. The facial interface they're still working on it, still coming. I believe it should be pretty soon now. I know they said, a few weeks out, and that was a couple weeks ago. So hopefully it should be coming pretty soon. I think the main problem was that there was just so much demand for the Quest stuff that they've been so backlogged trying to keep up with the Quest stuff that, but yeah. And there's also, they actually just came out with another product too. I don't think is available yet that they did send to us. We have them now. It is the thinner version of the backstrap for the VR cover for the Oculus Quest. So now they have a thicker version of that and a thinner version of that, which is pretty cool. And I haven't got to test that out a whole lot yet. But
the thicker one on mine is a little tougher to fit inside the official Oculus case. So I think that thinner one's really going to be nice for fitting down in that little space back there. So
so that'll be nice. And I think it also has to do with the size of your head. If you have a really really big head, you're better off to go with the thinner back cover than the thicker one. And people like Gaming Science Teacher mentioned, that she does have a smaller head and that she really likes the rear, the VR cover, that thicker, that it just helps, stay on her head better, helps grip better. So that's, it's good to have options. I'm all about options.
So everyone in chat was talking about Facebook Horizon. And on the beta and everything, I actually did throw the direct link to the beta sign up down in the description. Nice. So if you guys do want to grab that, I would hop in as early as you can. For sure. Just to get in line. I mean, we don't know how it works officially. Yeah, I don't know if it's going out to everybody or the first, 1,000. I mean, we don't really know.
I mean, they already gave it to everybody at OC6, so that's already a ton of people that are going to be in the beta. So I don't know how many more they're looking to add into this. So I mean, it's worth it just to sign up, and it is not available in all countries. I'm not sure exactly which countries it's not available in, but I know some countries they're not offering it. I don't know how that works, but
yeah, probably not France, because who would want to deal with stuff in France right now with VR?
Yeah, true that. But yeah, so it's worth signing up. Definitely sign up for that. Check that out.
Sure. So, yeah, I'm excited for it. I really want to get into it. Yeah. I'm over the moon excited about it. All this social stuff, man. I want the metaverse. Really gets,
this is just one step closer to the metaverse. I want it to be easier to link up in games. And we talked about this on our last show about OC6, the whole fact of, hanging out in VR. Like, I mean, to me, I love the movie Ready Player One. I know not everybody loved it. One of my favorite movies. I don't even know how many times I've watched it, but just the thought of like hanging out in H's basement, like me and you hanging out in a VR space, kicking back, watching some TV or whatever, and be like, you know what, let's go play Contractors. Walk through the portal, jump into Contractors. You're already teamed up. Like, that's just.
Well, I don't know if it's going to go into games through there, but we'll see.
Well, they did talk about portals for games, but I'm not sure if it's just the Horizon games. That's the thing.
Yes, it is. Yeah, that's what it's going to be. It's not going to be other games.
Hopefully, eventually, it makes it to all games, and it'll probably just be the Oculus library. But
even now, though, if we can do these, what were they called? I can't think of them again. The links, the deep links, to where we can just send a message to each other on there, and boom, you can jump over and join me. So I can say, hey, let's go. I'll go hop in, send you the link, and you're in with me.
They definitely need to make it easier for sure. So yeah, it'll be interesting to get in on that beta, and hopefully get in on that beta. We're not in on it yet, but we're hoping to get in on it. But yeah, so should be.
Jason said, how do you guys like Quest pulling the 20 million since launch? Yeah, that's impressive. 20%. And again, we talked about all this on our last show too. So if you guys haven't caught that, we really tried to hit everything, that happened during OC6. It's unbelievable. I mean, in 4 months? 20 mil in 4 months, 20% of their sales.
And that's almost unlimited supply.
Crazy.
I mean, there's still a lot of stores that don't have stock of them. So, I mean, if the shelves were fully stocked all the time, that number might even be bigger. And I think it's going to grow even more now. I mean, the fact that they announced this whole PC link stuff, I mean, it's going to go through the roof, especially holiday season. We are already anticipating a big holiday season. It's going to be insane, I think.
Sold out. It's going to be the hot ticket item. I guarantee it has to be.
The VR Mag, I'm pretty sure he threw his Rift S up on eBay during OC6 as soon as that stuff got announced. And
I think he sold it in like 30 minutes after posting it.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it sold
right away,
instantly. So
yeah, so I mean,
people still want them. Don't get me wrong. I mean, they're great headsets. There's nothing wrong with them at all. I mean,
for sure,
you can still run Steam with them. You can do all kinds of stuff. So
maybe not. So if somebody came up to you and said, "I have a gaming PC, no VR headset. Should I buy a Rift S or a Quest?" What would you tell them?
Quest.
Yeah, I mean it's so hard to not recommend that now. Like, how do you recommend the Rift S over the Quest? I mean,
I know.
It's hard to say for sure without trying the link ourselves yet.
Sure.
But just from what people have said that have tried it, and I think it's probably going to get even better. It's just, man, it's hard to, and especially even, with the thin VR cover on the Quest, you get a little bit more field of view, and that, that really does help. That, with to me, thin VR cover, deluxe audio strap, that's the way to go.
I know.
I mean, that's what I would recommend.
Agree. Yeah. So. I don't have the deluxe audio strap on mine, but I did get to try yours on. I think that was right when we hit like 1,000 subs.
Yeah, it was that weekend when I was back in Ohio. Yeah.
So that was kind of cool. We threw it together. I finished printing the stuff while you were here. And we threw it together, and oh man, It is. It's night and day difference.
And this is another thing that PD just brought up. He said, I've been hearing from people not interested in VR, finding out about Medal of Honor VR and saying maybe now is the time to try VR. And we talked about that in our last episode. Same thing, a guy at work, huge flat gamer, huge Call of Duty player. I told him about that, and that was the first time ever, and I talk about VR all the time, the first time ever he actually, his ears perked up, and he was totally interested in what I had to say. Any other time, totally writes me off and wants to talk about Call of Duty on the Xbox. I'm like, dude, I don't know anything about Call of Duty on the Xbox. I don't play it anymore. You know what I mean? So
they need to have like a commercial with like somebody at their house with like family there and kids screaming and crying, and then they literally like put the headset over their eyes, and boom, they're in Medal of Honor, like playing, like grenades going off and tanks going, and it's like you peek back out and it's like, yep, going back, you know, put it back on. Like, people just don't realize how like it takes you out of the world, you know, you're in and puts you in it.
I mean, their whole motto for Oc6 was, the time is now, or however they said it, but it really is. I mean, with Medal of Honor, the Quest news, the finger tracking coming to Quest. I mean, there's no reason now to hold off, and it's $3.99. I mean, there's really no reason to not get into that. And one question I do want to ask for the people listening now live in chat and the people watching this after to leave in comments is, I'm curious of how many people have a Quest and a gaming PC and a Quest as their only headset. I'm curious to know those numbers and how much of that actually exists. And I'm also curious to know how many people have a Quest and no gaming PC but are now considering buying a gaming PC.
See, I think that's an not easy upgrade, because obviously you have to have a pretty good investment in a decent, VR rig. But it gives you that leap, because before it was backwards. You had to invest, let's call it $2,000 for a minimum good PC VR setup.
I mean, way back in, that like when it first came about, maybe $2,000 is pretty expensive.
Even still now, though, I mean, what's a good VR rig cost? You might be able to get one down to $1,000, $1,200, and then you've got another $400.
You're talking about a total investment. Okay, I thought you just meant PC.
Total investment
right,
to get into VR gaming, period, if you're not a PC gamer, because a lot of people aren't. A lot of a console, especially if you played, Medal of Honor and stuff. So now you can make that leap easier, because you buy a $399 headset, play it off the get, love everything about it, and you're like, I want to start playing even better stuff.
Right. So I want to play Medal of Honor, Stormland, Asgards Wrath, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's
crazy. A lot easier upgrade then, because you're convinced that you like VR already. Instead of dumping all this money into it, maybe playing a couple shoddy games on Steam, and you're like, I don't really know if it's all it's cracked up to be. So it's a great approach. I think it's really gonna.
It does make sense. I'm really curious, so leave in the comments and stuff of what you have, and I'm curious to see how many people now like are planning on buying a gaming PC that didn't really consider it before with just a Quest. They didn't want to buy a gaming PC and a PC VR headset. Now it's. And I'm also curious to see how well this thing's gonna run on lower spec versus really higher spec on the Quest. How much of that is gonna matter. Spec wise for the PC, how much is that going to make the experience different? I don't know. We'll just have to see, but it'll be interesting to see. But yeah,
it will be. Yeah.
So go ahead.
Good. You're good.
I was going to change the topic.
Yeah, go ahead.
So the next thing I was going to talk about is the whole fact that Oculus acquired Control Labs. And that is basically the interface that goes on your wrist that reads electrical pulses that allows you to do things in VR. And I don't think they're doing anything with this yet. This is still future stuff. But
I'm actually surprised they even talked about it. I mean, they don't even have that, unless they have more cooking than we know. Maybe they have partnered up with them, beforehand, and they've kind of just decided to acquire for their purposes. And I'm sure, but I mean, maybe they have something cooking big.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And some people are a little bit worried about this because it is Facebook. And basically this thing is almost able to read your mind in a sense. And I don't know how that information is exactly translated, but it's the first. It can. Here, let me show you this video.
Come on.
Let me show you this video.
Come on. It can't read your mind, though.
Watch this.
Oh, jeez. Can't be that bad.
Whoops.
So what you notice is my hand looks like it's in a fist right now, but if she just keeps me from opening my hand, I can actually open my hand all the way. Or we can turn it here and you'll notice I can like do one finger or two fingers or my whole hand. I do that by just generating the nerve impulse even though I'm not moving. We don't decode your movement, we decode your intention.
Next, I got to really put the system to the test. My task? To hit a number of moving targets by just thinking about where I wanted the cursor to go and trying to not move my hand.
What are we not going to use it for? Your phone, a tablet, the computer that's built into a kiosk at the airport. All of those things are potential areas in which control labs can completely change the means by which you interact with those experiences.
I mean, that's crazy. I mean, it is literally...
So maybe it does read your mind. No,
I mean, you can. They're controlling things by thinking about it. I mean, I could understand if it was. So if you took your hand and you moved your hand and it can move it on the screen or in a virtual reality game or whatever, that would make sense.
Right.
But they're actually moving their virtual hand by thinking about moving their real hand. That blows my mind.
I get it. I mean, it does. Your nerve endings still are sparking. You know what I mean? Every time you're thinking about it. But
and that's how it does.
Yeah, I mean, it's. Right. I get it. It's awesome. I mean, it'd be cool stuff to try.
Yeah,
I don't
for sure.
I don't know how well it would translate. I don't think it's going to be precise. I mean, maybe someday, but I mean,
this video was a year old.
I know.
So this video was literally a year ago. So this is before the technology even really got to where it is right now. And I'm sure that it's limited in what it can do now, but it is a glimpse into the future that is a little bit scary. It's a little bit intimidating.
It's basically Facebook's dream to record all this information.
Right?
Though. I mean, come on.
There are some people that are seriously worried about it. It's a little scary. It's a little bit crazy. It'll be interesting to see what Facebook does, Oculus, what they do with this, what comes of this. Is this going to eventually the camera hand tracking going to go away and we just put something like this on and that's how we control things in VR? And then, I'm sure they could even do something where it will send electrical pulses back where it could actually make you squeeze your hand or where it could actually give tactile feedback to what you're doing, which is something that hand tracking kind of needs because depending on what you're doing with it, it's going to be very limited in what all's possible with hand tracking game wise. You know what I mean?
It's crazy.
Yeah, kind of blew my mind.
Read your mind. I know. Kind of read your mind.
Yeah.
So weird. I know. So how about the other the VR glasses?
So the Hawaii things?
Yeah. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, so they actually came out with like VR glass stuff that I think they call it VR glass. So these are actually, it's like a Chinese company, I believe, that is super thin. Basically look like glasses.
Yeah.
And I think I did forget to add those in actually.
Oh man, it's so cool. So they have they had a do you have the comparison picture hopefully? I think so. But they have it sitting beside like a CV1 and it shows the depth of, I thought looking at it, okay, it's just like a glorified VR headset, doesn't have the strap, shaped like glasses. But man, when they show, there's a top view of this thing and it's unbelievable how thin they have this. I'd be surprised to see how it works. I mean, without that depth between like a screen and a lens, how well it's working. It's got to be a super limited field of view. But it's a cool concept because it does not look like you're wearing a VR headset. That's the crazy part.
It looks like you're wearing a pair of glasses.
Yeah, so I think that would really translate to people that don't like VR or have that claustrophobia of having something strapped. My wife's that way. Doesn't like it being strapped on her head. Well, she does now with the Quest, so I can't say that. But it's just a really cool concept. Now, if they could implement that with AR even a little bit, it might look even, better. But man, it's a pretty cool setup. I don't know. Have they talked about release date even?
I'm not sure if these are out yet. So launch event on September 26th. So this is them there. And I don't believe they have the compute power built into them either. They tether to a cell phone or a computer or something like that. That's how they keep them so slim. But I feel like this, is kind of where VR needs to go in a sense, to get rid of this big bulky thing and just, look like you're wearing glasses. So, I mean, they're pretty slim form factor, as you can see. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not much to them. They do have some thickness, but they're still
way
way
they talk
way
about
thinner
the
than
price being like $499 or something?
So this is $2,999, but that's like yen or something. So
yeah, it is.
Yeah, right. I'm not sure what the U.S. price is, and I don't even think these are actually available in the U.S. I don't think you can buy them in the United States. So this is probably something you'd have to order overseas and somehow get shipped here. But
and there is a controller in that picture with a phone, so I'm assuming that is their setup with it. But it's a pretty cool little setup. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, for what it's so
it says
small.
It's 26.6 centimeters thick and weighs 166 grams, just 30% of its competitor Oculus Quest, which they're calling it a competitor of Oculus Quest. I don't know that that's really going to be the case, but
right.
I mean, I don't think it's going to compete necessarily with it. Maybe in China though, maybe in some other countries. I mean, the market's a little bit different in some of these other countries, but
Yeah.
It says it has independent fast LCD screens with a resolution of 3K to ensure footage clarity. The headset is equipped with double semi-open speakers for sound. So I wonder how, if they used kind of like the Bose technology, if it works as good as the Bose technology for the glasses like that, which would be pretty cool.
It would.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a simple looking setup, you know, for a lot of people who, you know, wouldn't normally want VR. So it's a good option. I'm pretty sure it was $499, so it's not a bad price point if that's the truth.
Yeah, I can't remember what
somebody I'm sure can.
Yeah, I don't know what 2,999 yen or whatever translates to. I have no clue.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, it's interesting to see. I mean, I would like to
yeah.
see, you know, a VR headset available over here that's kind of similar to this. And I think the big focus of this is watching TV and stuff like that, but it does list VR experiences. It says it can connect to smartphones, laptops, and TV to provide VR experiences. So I'm not sure what all kinds of experiences they're going to offer with this, but
I don't think they'll have much I mean, they're going up against the Quest. I mean, let's be honest. Like the price point and stuff. I mean, why wouldn't you buy a Quest with everything else it has? So it's still cool though. I mean, I like what they're doing, but yeah, probably won't happen. So I want to talk about a little bit of Population 1, and I know there hasn't been a whole lot of news. They've actually been working kind of on redoing their whole game a little bit, or parts of it at least, and it looks like they're going to have crossplay with the Quest from PC, which is pretty unbelievable.
Like right off the bat.
Yeah, which is unbelievable from what we've seen of Population 1 as it is right now. It's pretty cool. I mean, I know they're going to have to, you know, get rid of all their textures and stuff, but to be able to play this with people on Quest, with somebody on PC, that just, you know, blows it up, I think.
This is
for me,
a big part of their holdup, and this is the reason we haven't seen this game get released yet. And they talked about, you know, like you said, an overhaul basically of what they've been doing, but they want the biggest player base possible right off the bat, because we know how multiplayer games go. You know what I mean? Sometimes they're, you know, not always populated enough to really to make it what it should be. So that is going to be, that's their focus. So that's going to be super impressive. I still don't know. We still have no idea when it's coming out. I was hoping this year, but you know, it's really starting to look a little slim now that it might be.
If that was out for holiday, I feel like it would be huge.
Yeah.
Huge. Like if it dropped like mid-November.
Especially on Quest. I mean, that right there could be a huge system seller for Quest, you know, and I'm sure the experience is still going to.
We said that. Yeah. We said if Population 1 drops and it's as good as we've seen, it will be the number one probably played game, just for the color, what you can do inside of it. It just, you know,
I mean, if that game is really populated as much as what we think it'll be, you know, it's going to be excellent. So
I know.
I mean, there's a lot of
hype money now
that
that's backing it. It can't. I mean, it'll be great. It really will. Nuts. I know. I can't wait for that. So speaking of unpopulated games, this might actually populate it though. Standout's on sale right now for $6, like $6.24. And talk about a game that we have a ton of hours in.
Yeah.
Love Standout. And for $6, man, if you're looking, kind of just getting a headset. Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of fun. And actually, it's, to me, they're not smart, but the bots in that are actually really good, I think. I don't know why. They're not that like intelligent. Well, they're not bad, actually.
They're not bad.
For a free roaming game, they're not bad. Yeah. You actually can't tell sometimes the difference. Which is pretty cool. I mean, that's hard in a lot of VR games.
I mean, they're still not as good as an actual person, but they're pretty good. I mean, they every once in a while you don't know if it was a bot or a real person. You know,
it's nuts.
Surprises you. Yeah, so definitely one worth picking up for sure.
Oh yeah.
So real quick, I just want to jump over to this. My wife asked me if I saw our Grambo's comment, and I missed it. She just sent it to me. He talking about Facebook Horizon. It says, thank you for your submission. Admission will be granted on a rolling basis starting early 2020. Participants may be selected based on their response to the application questions. So is basically how they're going to base, you know, who's getting into the beta for Facebook Horizons. I just want to touch on that
I think some of the questions were what? Like, do you moderate, you know, channels and stuff like that? What else was there? Something else too. But, yeah. I mean, I'm sure they're wanting to get into the hands of people who are, you know, do a lot of testing.
They're going to want feedback. I mean, it is a beta. Sure they're going to want some feedback. So they're going to want to put it in the hands of people that are going to hopefully give feedback. One of the questions was, have you ever developed in Unity or Unreal, stuff like that? Because they're looking for people that are going to build experiences inside of the game as well. So I'm sure that has an
that was
effect
one of their questions. You're right. Yeah.
So. And
Yeah. And I just typed
2009.
in. I didn't actually put like links. Did you? I mean, we
don't
have
believe
the
so.
like games that we made for Pavlov, maps for Pavlov and stuff.
No,
but
I didn't. Yeah,
I didn't
there's
link
no
or
links or
anything. I
anything.
don't know. I'm not
So
worried about it.
2,999 yen is $421. So you were
Yep. Thought so.
correct. So yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. Yeah, it'd be interesting. It's a bad price point though, man. You're gonna buy Quest. Come on.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think we talked about, and maybe we didn't. Did we talk about Aspire 1 getting pushed back last week?
I think we talked about it the week before.
We might
So
have.
yeah,
Oh,
it has been pushed
Could have
back.
been.
So
Yeah, I know, and still no release date. I think it just says fall or something now.
yeah,
but
hopefully still this year, but that is going to be an awesome game.
I know.
Everybody's super, but I mean, I do
Sad.
want them to take their time, make it right. You know,
Well, sure.
get it perfect, because I think what we talked about before was, you know, if you don't have it right, you know, when it first launches and you get a bunch of criticism, that a lot of people kind of step away from it and they don't necessarily come back, and that's, you know, what a lot of developers want to avoid.
Yeah.
But so talking about a game though, Pistol Whip,
Oh,
we did get a new trailer for that, and the game looks
so good.
absolutely amazing.
So good. I want to play Pistol Whip so bad.
I know.
Looks so much fun.
This is the trailer here.
Checks all my boxes. It does too.
I mean, I have the music turned down for this,
Yeah, I
but it's definitely John Wick super hot
Oh yeah.
mixed together. And this trailer isn't anything, you know, groundbreaking from what we've seen before of
Right.
the game, but it's just still,
More polished trailer.
I mean,
yeah.
it's going to be good. And,
I
and
like
this
how
is
some of the objects like tweak out of like reality.
Yeah.
Like that one where there was like light posts and it like glitched and like they kind of went out. That's really cool.
yeah, this is one of them games that is not going to translate well to a flat gamer in a video. Like
Sure.
watching this video, other than the fact that it's recorded in mixed reality, which is cool, the game itself doesn't look like anything special. But it's going to be that game, just like Super Hot, that once you
Yep.
get in there, it is like mind-blowingly good. And this is just one of them ones that you're going to have to put people in, because
Yep.
it-
This is going to be the first game I probably put people in once I have it.
yeah, it
Really
just
is.
doesn't. So this is something that they posted on their Twitter that had me cracking up. But this is basically a guy playing Pistol Whip. They were giving some demos, and he's just going hard, just like in the middle of the space with all these people walking around. But it just shows you, I mean, he could care less about anything else that's going on right now except for what's going on in this game. And
I know.
it just looks intense. And he's actually only using one controller too, because
That's true.
I believe there is no movement. It's just kind of just, you know, takes you through the world. Like you're not actually using stick movement or anything.
Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't notice that when I watched this before.
But
there
I
was
just
only
love
one.
this video.
Yeah.
I don't even know who that is. I'm not sure if that's anybody, you know, in particular.
That's
but
awesome,
just the video itself, I was
So
like, this is,
good.
because I mean, that's like, at first I thought, when I first saw it, I thought it was like speeded up a little bit, but then I was looking at everybody else and I was like, no, this is real time. This guy is just loving life
Going
right
hard.
now. Yeah.
I feel like that was us in like Arizona Sunshine and
Oh
I mean,
yeah, yeah.
just
Back
going
in the
hard.
early days, just
Oh,
totally
man.
engulfed in like not even
It's
worried
awesome.
about the world
I know.
around us.
It's crazy. So, did you happen to did you buy a new hard drive yet for Asgard's Wrath?
Oh my goodness, I'm gonna have to.
That's
Seriously.
incredible. I can't even believe that. That's amazing.
121 gigs. 121 gigs for that game.
That's nuts.
Massive.
That's crazy. I mean, is that a good sign or a bad sign? I mean,
I think it's a
that
good
mean
sign
it's
if you have
that
hard drive
big?
space.
well, right. But is it that big
Yeah.
or is it that underutilized? That's what scares me.
No, supposedly it is that big and it's just that high of textures, and like supposedly the game is just going to be absolutely amazing. A huge, massive game, incredible graphics. Like supposedly that number is just because that's how good the game's going to be, and not underutilized or anything like
crazy.
that. It's going to be, yeah, I mean 121 gigs. I mean, I'm literally probably going to have to,
That's
because I mean I have so many VR games and stuff on the hard drive anyways. I'm probably going to have to delete some of them that I haven't played in a long time. You know, with Asgard's Wrath, Stormland, Medal of Honor, you know, all these games are probably going to be pretty big games. I doubt they'll be as big as 121 gigs, but goodness gracious,
Right.
it's so huge.
PD was asking about Crunch Element. And
Oh,
he
yeah, I can
says
see
he
that.
couldn't get the mechanic to work. Tried all the buttons. I wonder what's he playing on? Rift S, I think.
Yeah,
right?
probably Rift S. So the
Yeah.
charge mechanic, if I remember right, you pull it off your hip, and then you don't actually place it on the wall. You hit I think the trigger button or one of the buttons, and it shoots it onto the wall, and then you step back and you hit, I believe, what was it? I think it was B on the right controller, and that actually charges the explosion. I'll have to go back in. I did play it. It's an excellent game, and he's talked about all the updates that's coming to that, and one of the things he talked about was the AI improvement that he's working on, which is kind of needed. The AI isn't real good yet, and I know he's working on it. It's going to get there, but the game's excellent. The game's a lot of fun.
Yeah, he was basing mechanics and all that stuff first, but
so...
Yep.
But that is, I believe, if I remember right, how I charged the explosion. And it's cool because you can pretty much blow a hole in any wall of the building and stuff. It's really cool.
Another good visual game too, kind of like Pistol Whip. I mean, it just that arcade-ish kind of, not a sim. It's more of an arcade type shooter.
Yeah, not that much arcade, like not as much super hot texture package, but it's still really cool. So we've talked about that a couple times on the show, but for sure. Let's get into a little bit of lo-fi stuff. Are you down for that?
Lo-fi?
Yeah. We don't ever talk about it. Do we ever talk about lo-fi?
On, man. No, we don't talk ever about lo-fi.
I don't think we ever talk about lo-fi. So this is basically, this is lo-fi working on the index. This is in the index now. They do have the finger tracking and everything working on the index controllers, and he's actually also added the HOTAS support, which you can actually fly now with HOTAS. So I think Tyler
I need
might
to try.
Get into some of that
I need
later.
to. Mine are packed away because I'm literally moving right now. Like that's what this weekend is, and I do need to get them out because I want to try that because really we haven't had a game implement. I mean, there has been some efforts at it, but man, in this game would be so awesome. It'd be so good.
Yeah,
it'd be like having it in No Man's Sky. Really would be. Except I do like the magnetic. I'm not gonna lie. I actually think the magnetic mount works better than physical HOTAS because you don't have to like take your controllers off then to use them or drop them or let them hang by the strap. So I don't know. I'm actually liking the magnetic one a lot better. Which speaking of, wasn't ProTube trying to make one? Whatever happened to that?
Yeah, they are working on it. I'm not sure. This is actually your footage in the game. This is you playing on the index and lo-fi session exporting. I don't know what happened. I know ProTube is working on it.
Sorry about that. We're trying to. We're just trying to hook you guys up with the cheapest way to do stuff.
Yeah. For sure. So yeah, but another thing I want to talk about in lo-fi was basically the fact that Quest, if you have a Quest and you haven't picked up this game yet, and you are planning on not picking up this game, you have it backing it, or you're planning on not backing it because you had a Quest, you know what I mean, and that the goal was pretty high for the Quest. With this link cable and a Quest and a gaming PC, you're going to be able to play this game on the Quest. So I think that really opens up the market to more people that are going to be able to get inside this game. And if you watch this show for any time, we talk about lo-fi quite a bit. And the Kickstarter is actually ending, I think, in 4 days.
Sean, turn it down.
Oh, sorry.
I don't hear it, so I can't.
My bad. I just added the source. Yeah, I just added the source because I forgot to add it before the show. Sorry about that. I probably blew everybody's eardrums out with that. But
yep. Now you got to buy everybody hearing aids.
Yeah. So, but yeah, this is. I think they have 4 days left now. I believe they only have 4 days left on the Kickstarter. I'm gonna look at it real quick, and they're really close to the next goal. So I'm actually thinking about upping my pledge a little bit. I might go to the next level. They have 4 days left, 1,440 current backers at $72,160. And I think the next unlock is at $75,000, I believe.
Right. Yeah, I think so. I think you're right on that.
And that is going to be the Cyberwolf.
Can everyone still hear us? Just checking.
They should be able to.
Okay.
I didn't mute us. But yeah, my bad for blowing everybody's eardrums out. I literally just added this before we started, and I forgot to add it into the scene, so I was doing that real quick, but I forgot to have it muted, and the volume was all the way up. Like, when you add one in, it's automatically volume max, so.
I know.
But yeah.
Ridiculous. There's our coffee maker robot. I want the coffee maker robot
we gotta get
so
that in
bad.
there.
I should have pledged more.
I know. Well, you can up it. That is one thing that you can do. Before it is over, you can manage your pledge, and you can actually up your pledge. So hopefully we can at least get to the next 75,000, which is the Cyberwolf companion. So that'll be pretty awesome. So
yeah. The other one, too, is the soundtrack ones, because who he's getting for music and stuff here.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that much. It's like a couple bucks more for like all the music or something too, which is really cool.
Yeah, for sure. That is one that I know a lot of people were excited about, and people have talked about upping their pledge for those, because I think you get the full music album as well. With some
and
of
I think if you want Technolust too, it's like $2 or something more for Technolust, which is really cool too.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. So yeah, definitely if you have a Quest, this is definitely something maybe you should look into now. I mean, this is the time if you do want to back it. We're running out of time. 4 days left, so you'll be able to play
everyone's
this.
ears are gone. It's awesome. I love it.
I feel bad.
No, I don't actually. But...
I'm sorry. That was totally my fault. So
Sean's now buying everybody a coffee mug. One of our rendered reality coffee mugs live in chat.
Oh boy. Well, I gotta end the show now. I gotta go back to work so I get some money to buy everybody a coffee mug.
Oh man, that's awesome.
Oh man, we'll have to put a warning in the description for that timestamp.
Too late. Mute at this time. That's awesome. Oh,
yeah. So yeah, definitely think about kickstarting this. We really want to see it. And Gunship was one of the ones that was in there. They just popped up there.
Yeah,
but
I know there was a banner and stuff in the back on the wall in that scene. And oh man, so cool.
Good
the
stuff.
music's really good.
Yeah,
really good.
I mean, I'm looking forward to trying this on the Quest. I've been lucky enough to be in this world in the CV1, the Rift S, and the Index. So it'll be interesting to see and it is a very dark game. So I mean, like it's a dark world. A lot of blacks and stuff. So. That Quest might have a little bit of an advantage with that OLED panel and those dark scenes.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely might.
So definitely
he
check
said,
that out.
have we seen Attack of the Retro Bots on Steam? He said it's a fast-paced, Doom-style, frantic action. So
I haven't seen that one.
I'll definitely have to check that out. I haven't seen that one, actually.
We actually did get a couple of game announcements from Oc6 that didn't really seem to get a lot of publicity, I guess. They didn't really talk a lot about them. So there was two pretty big ones that kind of stood out. And one of them was the, let me see here.
Make sure your volume's good this time.
Yeah, this one was preloaded, so we should be good. So this one was The Room. This is a VR trailer for The Room.
Oh, yeah.
And this was actually, I think, a mobile game. This is on the Switch and stuff like that. And so this is actually built from the ground up for VR. And this is one of them that got announced basically at OC6, but it wasn't like a big publicity thing. But it looks really good.
I feel like there wasn't that many games as I expected.
Me neither.
I'm really surprised. I don't know. I figured by now everybody has been pushing pretty hard on releasing some Quest, products and stuff.
Right. Yeah, so this is actually going to be coming to PC, Quest, and PSVR. So it says the game has been on other platforms such as mobile and Switch, coming in 2020, and they said they have been hearing from their fans for a while to make a VR game. So that was what really pushed them into getting into VR, which is cool. It's good to hear that a lot of these companies are starting to hear, like, you need to make a VR game, you need to make a VR game, and like this is a puzzle game, so we know, the puzzle games translate really well to VR.
Oh, yeah.
So
and if it's going to PSVR, it's stuff on there selling great. I feel like everybody buys any VR game that comes out for some reason. I mean, just wanting to try
Quest.
stuff, wanting to find something.
Seems like Quest is too, because the library isn't as big as some of the other markets, so when new stuff comes out, that people are ready to gobble it up pretty quick usually.
I know. It's coming. Yeah, with that cable, you can play anything.
I know.
Crazy.
Yeah, it really
I can't
is.
believe that. It's
so
exciting.
The other one this is actually from the makers of Firewall 0 Hour on PSVR. So they are actually making a game that they announced the trailer and everything, that we knew that they were working on this from before, but this one looks really good too.
Yeah, this one looks good. Yeah, this looks really good though.
It's called Solaris Off-World Combat.
Did this have actual gameplay?
No.
That's
one of the bad things. They actually, at least they said it. They said that no actual gameplay in trailer, just to show the cinematics, basically.
I know. The look, I get it. I mean, it's still though. I want to see some gameplay, man. That's what gets me pumped.
Yeah, and I mean, so this is going to be strictly multiplayer. It's 4 versus 4, fast-paced battles, and it's coming to Quest and Rift in 2020 with crossplay, and eventually to PSVR.
Right.
So the crossplay aspect is pretty good.
Crossplay is always good.
Yeah.
I mean, we've said that forever. With a smaller, the VR community, it's big. Don't get me wrong, and it's bigger than it was a couple years ago. It's still small, niche kind of community at this point. So the bigger we can get that, the better. Really helps make it feel populated.
And especially in a multiplayer only game, a strictly multiplayer game. I mean, that's, you got to have as many people in there as you can. And I'm pretty excited about it because of the fact of, this is Firewall devs, First Contact Entertainment. So this isn't somebody that's new to the game or anything. You know what I mean? They made a very, very good game on the PSVR. So I do wish we were getting Firewall 0 Hour to PC VR. I do really wish that, but
I know.
But yeah, it looks really good. And this is another one that came out that didn't get a lot of publicity, I don't feel like. But
Right. No, I don't either. Yeah. So can we talk about that other really big game that we showed earlier?
Beachbody Bros.
That's right.
It might be kind of loud too. We'll turn it down since we already played the trailer in the beginning. But,
oh, why? It's so good.
Okay, we'll let it play.
So good.
Hey, you little guy. Are you with me? Come on, man. I need you to focus.
Music's amazing.
Glory be to those abs.
You ready to go head to head with the heavies?
Even your veins have muscles.
All right. Ready? Let's get started. Ah!
So amazing, man. Come on. I know it's stupid, but I will tell you guys this. It is free to try.
Yeah, it's free.
You do not have to pay a dime for it. So
Yep. It is free on Steam. Did you put that link in there?
gosh.
If not, we'll have to add the link. But it is free on Steam.
I think I did.
We kind of
Maybe
just
I
came
did.
across this morning, like right before we went live on the show, so we haven't got into this yet. We haven't got to
it's
play
so
it, but
good.
for free. And the reviews are actually really good, right?
Yeah. Oh, they're great. There's 3 reviews, and I think they're all 5 stars. It's amazing. So good. Like I could seriously play this.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So for free, it's definitely worth checking out. And people say it's pretty hilarious and fun. So it says, in a world ruled by bros, one feeble wimp has what it takes to become the ultimate Beachbody bro, and that pint-sized little runt is you. Showcasing Oculus Medium as a production-ready sculpting tool, Beachbody Bros takes you on a ridiculous 4-minute musical journey through a world of pure muscle, intense strength, and stupid greatness. As you march along the sand, your puny, frail body struggles with the lightest of dumbbells, but with the support and blunt encouragement of a few wicked Beachbody Bros, your body quickly beefs up until you're transformed into the proudest of hulking meat specimens glistening in the sun.
Meat specimen. It's so good. Like this is like something I would write. Like that's amazing.
Yeah, it is awesome.
It's so good. And like all this content that we're watching is packed into just 4 minutes too of gameplay. Why wouldn't you play it?
Yeah, so it's not like a big game, but it's free. It's just a free little experience, and I guess this was all made in Oculus Medium, which is pretty cool. I mean,
that's
it was
true.
all sculpted in
think about that.
Oculus
Right.
Medium and stuff. So.
So good. Oh my gosh.
Awesome. So I can't wait to check it out. This looks awesome, actually. And I mean, for free, you can't go wrong. It just looks ridiculously funny. I mean, even the trailer is just hilarious. So
It's amazing. I know.
Good stuff.
Sorry.
we thought that would be hilarious to put up on the intro. Just to
Greg's
pop up.
VR said it's on the Oculus store too. For
Oh,
free.
nice! I didn't realize it's on Oculus
I
too.
didn't
Yeah,
either.
we
That's
saw it
cool.
on Steam.
Yeah.
Yeah. That is
It
so
looks like
cool.
everybody seems to like it in chat.
Yeah.
I thought it was great.
It is pretty
I might
awesome.
have a twisted sense of humor though too.
Well, yeah, that's true.
It's amazing.
That's good stuff.
Oh, jeez, I know. Still, what else you got? I'm looking here too.
Let me see here.
Oh, that's awesome. I just want to go play that now.
So we do have a little bit more about Boneworks, not much. The Boneworks
Yeah.
coming to the Quest. So it is called, what was it? I don't know. It was called Project 4, but I don't know if that's the actual title of what the game is or if that's just a code name.
Right.
But
Could
it
be.
was announced at Oculus Connect 6 that the new title from Stress Level Zero, the studio behind Hover Junkers, Duck Season, and obviously Boneworks, is going to be some kind of physics-based adventure game. We don't even know. I mean, we
Right.
don't even really know what the actual Boneworks game is, so we know even less about this. But yeah, so it just says that it's going to take place in the Boneworks universe. So it'll be really
I'm
interesting to
still
see.
amazed with that. It still blows my mind that Oculus actually is working with Boneworks. So I don't know. It's kind of crazy. I don't know if they landed that contract before or early, or it's interesting. I don't know.
I'm not sure. So it says the title Project
cool.
4 was flashed on the screen, but it's not clear at this time whether that's the actual name of the game or it's just simply a placeholder. So
Sure.
yeah, I don't know. It's yeah. I don't know, but Boneworks is supposedly slated to launch sometime Q4 2019, so we're still supposed to be getting that game this year too. I mean, there's so much good games to come still this year. It's crazy. And
I feel like everyone's holding off till holiday. I feel like that's their like deadline. Maybe like in studio, we have to be out by holiday. I just feel like it's coming. Like one more month, man. We're gonna see stuff dropping like crazy.
Yeah.
Like November. November is gonna be the hot month. I feel like end of November.
Yeah, probably true. Yeah. I mean, how are we even gonna play all these games? I mean, especially with a game like Asgards Wrath that's 121 gigs. You know that we know is gonna be massive, and there's still. No Man's Sky and stuff that people are still
Stormlands.
Yeah, Stormlands. I mean, it's just, and there's so many other things we're not even thinking of right now. It's crazy. So
I know.
The other game.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting for sure.
Yeah, you came across this game, which is called VR Skater.
Oh yeah.
Which is actually like a VR skating game, and this takes me back to like the Tony Hawk days. I was asking you the game that was on. I think it was PlayStation 1. It was just called Skate with like an 8 in the name. Yeah, I used to play that game all the time too.
Oh,
like,
I know.
These were games that were super fun back in the day.
Oh, I know. It was so good. And all like the little like tricks and stuff that what I liked about them, like with the Tony Hawk especially, is you had to like find all the stuff, or you had to get all the letters that said like
the
skate,
movie tapes, like the VHS
stuff.
tapes and stuff.
Yeah. Yep, that was super cool. I love doing all that. So if they would implement some of that stuff into this, woof. Be awesome.
It could be really cool. And I'm curious to see what it would feel like skateboarding. I mean, I've done like the downhill skiing and stuff like that in VR, but never skateboarding. I don't know.
I don't know. It might give a lot of people probably some motion sick because you're going to have that vertical dropping.
And you're jumping. And maybe that'll help.
A lot of fun, but,
maybe that board as the point of reference that is sticking with you may help some. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. But we don't know a whole lot about this game yet. This is just like a little bit of footage from it, but it looks pretty cool.
It'd be cool to be able to do all the tricks like with the sticks on the controller and everything. It'd be so cool. Just like the old combos. Remember how you had to use like you'd have to go like left up A or something to do like certain tricks, and it's so cool.
Could have some serious potential. There's so many of the like games that still haven't been done in VR yet that we don't know what they're going to be like until you get inside of them. But yeah, it looks really cool.
So cool. I really want to check this one out.
It definitely has potential. If it's done right, I think it could seriously. I mean, why not do an official Tony Hawk game? Are they still making those? I don't even know.
No, I don't. Not that I know, but I know he was just on. I forget what it was. Twitter posts and stuff. It was like some anniversary, like 20th anniversary or something of the game, and they were showing a bunch of stuff, which was really cool.
I mean, to me, it seems like the VR market is kind of a space where you can bring things back, you know what I mean? Like reinvigorate old things, just like they're doing with Medal of Honor. They haven't had any Medal of Honors, and now they're bringing it back, and it's going to be huge in VR. It's going to be massive, you know what I mean? So you bring back that name, from its former glory. You could do the same thing with Tony Hawk. You could do the same thing with a lot of other games.
Well, I think that's what kind of made Pavlov big in the beginning, because they copied all the CSGO maps right away.
CSGO, yeah, for sure.
So I think that's what really helped that out. Everybody wants that experience they had in 2D now in VR, so I totally get that. I mean, who didn't dream of that, when they were younger, or even a couple years back, whatever game it was.
Yeah, for sure. So there's some Boneworks talk in the chat.
Ooh, man. Yep.
The Chauncey said they have come a long way since the Hover Junkers days. Which even the I
still want to play that.
The Duck Hunt game, that was a cool game, but it wasn't like massively popular or anything like that. But I mean, the expectations are super high for Boneworks for sure. I think that's going to be an excellent game. There's just so many good games that are coming.
I know. Yeah.
So Paradise Decay said, I think extreme sports make for good VR experiences. So I feel like there's not a whole lot of good sports stuff out there yet. I mean, just in general, like there's so many things that they can still do in VR. I think it's just figuring out how to do them and how to do them well in VR that it translates.
I think a fun one would be, did you ever play Blitz, the football game?
Oh yeah.
Where it was like really like over the top and stuff. I think that would be super cool. That would be a lot of fun to see, something like that.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, we need some of that stuff brought back. We really do. I'm sure everyone in chat would have better ideas, because there's so many games out there that would be
so many
incredible, that I'm not even thinking about from back in the day. It'd be so cool. Really would.
So,
what are you reading?
Jesus Jesus Rice said, looks like loads of VR injuries waiting to happen, like Richie's plank experience faceplant.
Oh my gosh, I know.
So yeah,
I
think that's coming to the
I
issue.
need to send that video to you. I should. We should play that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I have the one from my mom
try
too.
it.
That was hilarious.
Oh.
But
The guy I let try, so what I did on Richie's plank experience is I actually took a little piece of wood and put it under the end of the board. So
Right,
the
so
farther
it
they
has
got
some
out,
wobble.
it was like wobbly. And the guy got halfway out and got scared, turned around, and on his way back, he freaked out. And he tried to make a step towards the elevator to get back into it. And he tripped and he completely fell over on the ground. And he
you
said
basically caught him.
Well, yeah, but when you fall off the board, you fall down the building. Like
Right.
he said, he was just laying there freaking out because the building was going past him, like the windows.
Yeah.
And he was just like curled up, like didn't know what to do. You know, it's kind of funny, but I did get it all on video. It's pretty, but he literally fell. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a great one. I love it. Yeah, Mame fan said closest is VR Sports Challenge. So like,
yeah, I was
Blitz
thinking
game,
that
stuff
too.
like that.
Yeah. Yeah, which that's a good game. Actually my nephew loves that game.
Oh jeez,
He really does.
Conrad Lawrence said Mortal Kombat VR full scale fighting.
Oh my gosh,
Oh
could you
my
imagine?
goodness, man, that'd be so intense.
With some of like the power moves and stuff. Oh man, that would be
That would be crazy. Steve XM said Perfect Dark VR. I mean,
Yeah.
there's so many. There's just so many good games.
There's so much stuff like we've never even thought about to translate over. You know, because back then you weren't thinking that.
Oh no,
you know?
yeah.
Man, there's so much stuff. There's so many old school games. Like, I still go back to Dreamcast for a lot of them. So many. Rush 2049. What was that? Something like that. I forget what that was even on. Ugh.
That was like Sega
I know.
and all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Show us the video. PD wants to see the video.
Yeah, we got to get that video. It's actually on Tyler's cell phone, so we'll save that for another one because if I add it in here now, I'm gonna blow everybody's eardrums out again probably. So that's funny.
Yeah, it was funny. It was like on a construction site. It was like finishing a house. It was pretty funny.
Yeah. One thing I
Great
thought was
tons
pretty
of flowers.
interesting that MRTV talked about, I think yesterday, was these.
Yeah.
This is basically on eBay. This is somebody that built this, that is selling this as a kit with Sennheiser headphones for the Rift S. And I guess supposedly they're going to be working on one for the Quest as well that they're going to be having come out. And I think these are like $129 for this kit. So it's actually probably priced pretty well, you know, for how much the Sennheisers cost a lot of times.
yeah.
So not really a bad price. So this is another option for audio since, you know, we still didn't get anything official from Oculus. So looks pretty good.
Yeah, it's a good option. I mean, it
Yeah,
definitely
I'm sure they
works.
sound fantastic.
Sure, they'd
So.
have to. The only bad thing is they're only adjustable up and down. Well, I guess you can go back and forth on it.
Yeah, they have like bolts
So-
basically, like screws on the backside that you screw them in. So you'd probably have to get them where you
Sure.
want them. I don't know how much movement exactly is in them, but I'm sure MRTV is going to have a video on this as well. Like the video he did have was talking to the guy making these, but I know he's getting this in so he can talk about it some more. So pretty cool.
Yeah, and it's great. I mean, for single use and not having to have other people try it and stuff, I think it would work really well. The only bad thing is, you know, you let somebody try it and your ears don't line up and then it doesn't sound good. But I totally get it.
Right.
I mean, really, Rift S, I mean, you're going to be in your, you know, VR space anyways the whole time. You're not taking it out and letting people try it as much. So I think it would work great. I really do.
I still almost would prefer the deluxe audio strap on the Rift S. but
Well, I get it.
I don't really know how much I'm going to use my Rift S once this link cable comes out.
I know,
We will
I
find
know.
out. But
Our Grambo said Mirror's Edge, and I've said that before
yeah.
too.
Yeah.
I love that game. The colors in that and everything too. The free running,
perfect.
so good.
yeah, that would be perfect.
That would be awesome. Well, which was that? What was the other game that we just had that we played that was like the sort of like free running where you had to grab the stuff?
Oh yeah, yeah. I actually really like that game.
what was
Can't think of the name of it now.
Shoot, I can't
I'll look
either.
it up.
Yeah, I don't remember. But that was that reminded me actually a lot of it. I was quite impressed with that.
The Tower 2, that's what it was. The Tower
Yes,
2.
Tower
yeah,
2, that's
that
it.
was awesome. I love that game.
Yep,
It's a lot of fun.
that reminded me a lot of that. So actually, if you like Mirror's Edge, I would definitely give that a try.
Yeah, it was pretty similar. A lot of
Yeah.
different movements and stuff and hanging on things and dropping down and yeah, it was pretty
Yep.
cool.
Yeah, it was. That was really cool.
Yep. Pretty sweet. I think that's pretty much about all we have for today. We got into a lot of stuff. Talking about that eye tracking module that is coming to the Cosmos as well for $150. Let's just mention that real quick. But like I said, I don't know if
Right.
that's going to have the dynamic foveated rendering, but
Right. Arizona Sunshine update.
yeah, the damn DLC is
Yep.
coming out here
Yep.
pretty soon.
Yep, that's the 3rd. So what's that? A week, maybe?
It's October
like that.
3rd. Yep.
Yep.
So and they say
So,
that's the biggest mission to date. So
right.
that's gonna. How
Pretty
many
cool.
people can you get 2 or 4 people in co-op in Arizona Sunshine? I can't remember. I know we always played it
just
in
2.
2. I was hoping
I think
it's 4.
it's
I was
just
hoping
2.
we could get a couple people in there and all go at it together. But
I think it's. I swear it's just 2. Man, we used to play that. The wait. What is it? Horde. They call it a horde mode on
yeah.
there. Oh my gosh, you and a buddy of mine played it, and he was just trying it out. It was the first time he really played a shooter game. You guys took, I think, 2nd on the leaderboards.
Yeah,
you guys
back in the
played
day, yeah, we went
Oh my
far.
gosh.
I mean, we played for a long time.
It was like an hour and a half, and I think you guys were just like done at a point almost. Like
it was tough. I mean, those
exhausted.
horde mode levels get intense when you start getting
man.
up there. It was a lot of fun though. But yeah,
I
I'm
know.
sure that was probably a super low number now compared to what people do in there.
Oh,
but,
sure.
but back then,
Sure.
yeah, we were real high on the leaderboard for a
Oh
little
man,
bit.
yeah,
It was
that was
really cool.
crazy. That was a lot of fun. Man,
good
appreciate
time.
everybody being in chat. We're up to like about 70 people. I think we peaked out here at a point for live. We really do appreciate that. We
Yeah.
love talking with you guys, especially after OC6. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
There was a
crazy.
lot
I
to get
mean,
into.
really, what do you think? Do you think Oculus has taken like the top seat in the VR industry now? I don't know. We've talked about this a little bit, but
Yeah, I mean, I think they have the top seat. I mean, the money they have, the backing that they have, the pool that they
Sure.
can use with all the money they have and stuff. I definitely think that they kind of have the top seat for VR, but there's a lot of other people that are pushing different boundaries than what they are.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah,
I don't know. You still where do you think Valve sits with all this now?
I don't know.
What would happen if tomorrow they dropped a wireless adapter for the Index? Would you change your tune?
I don't know. The problem is with the Index is they still haven't even figured out the controller issues. They're still having controller
I
issues.
know.
They're still trying to get all that taken care of.
know.
So, yeah, I mean, I love the Index. I really do. And wireless would definitely be a huge, game changer for it for sure, especially if it was at a decent price point. But I don't know. I mean, I still
know.
think Oculus is going to be the market leader. I mean, they're still going to sell more hardware than
Sure.
anybody else, I think, especially with the Quest now. The price point they're able to keep stuff at. I mean, the Valve Index package is $1,000. You can spend $399 and have a Quest that's, in a couple months going to be able to do PC VR and mobile. It's just hard to compete with. Nobody else is doing that. I mean, even the Cosmos, they mentioned tethering to a cell phone, which isn't something that's going to be out of the box. I don't know when that's even supposed to come now at this point, but it's still, I mean, how is that going to compete with the $399 Quest that's going to be able to play PC VR games as well? I mean, it's a
I know.
it's a
It's
tough
got the
market.
cell phone built into it basically with the 855. So
Yeah,
you don't even need the cell phone. It's standalone.
Yeah, I'm curious to see
completely, so.
everybody else's thoughts on this other than just ours. But yeah, it's.
I know.
I mean,
Well,
I
and gaming science teacher, she said too, it's how you define top, and I agree.
right.
And that was kind of my point. You've got different levels, is it mass market that you define as top, or is it like quality product? So, everyone's going to have their own opinions on this, obviously, but I think, to me, top would be which company is progressing farther in the VR industry. And I don't just mean top end, like the best headset. I mean, as a whole. So I do feel like Oculus is really taking top spot, in my opinion, even though it's not as much of what I want in the coming future. But as a VR company as a whole, I do. I really think they're doing something right, with it.
I don't know. I mean,
the
I think
social aspect too.
Right. I think the Quest 2 is going to be an absolute game changer. I mean, if they're going to fully focus on the Quest, which I mean, we know they are, and that's what we're seeing. The fact that if they can get, the stuff that we've seen in Half Dome 3 and stuff like that, if they can eventually get all of that stuff built into the Quest where they're going to be using, a higher socket on a chip, stuff like that, and still be able to tether to a PC. And I mean, if they can get that field of view up and the clarity up, the comfort up, if they can hit all of those points in the next Quest, I mean, it's going to be, if they can
still hit the same price point too.
Yeah, still a good price
the
point.
thing.
I mean, that price point is huge, especially for trying to get more people to buy it. $399 isn't that much to spend holiday season. People buy.
Everybody buys Switches. Those are $299.
They get Switches, they get Xboxes, PlayStations. I mean, those are big sellers for holidays. And this year it's going to be good because there's no new console competition as far as I know. I mean, there's no the PS5, the Xbox Scarlet or whatever. None of those are available this holiday season. So that helps Quest, take that spot as being the hot item even easier.
I think that even this year, Quest can take the place of like someone wanting a Switch for Christmas, you know, because I think it hits every age. just like a Switch does. You know, everybody wants a Switch because the nostalgia purposes, being able to play old school games like Super Mario and stuff. Yeah. So like somebody our age, you know, traveling on the subway or headed somewhere on a plane, you can take that with you, just like you can the Quest. Now, don't get me wrong, it's still something you're putting on your head, so it's a different idea for people, and I think that scares some away. But I think if somebody is looking for the new technology, something new and fun, that's the thing to buy this Christmas.
I mean, it makes no sense why that thing isn't going to sell like crazy. And that's assuming they're not going to have a sale. I mean, if they have a sale, which I don't know why they would because they're selling so many of them, but if they did drop $50 off of that thing, and I doubt that they will, but
I think they did the first holiday season of the CV1, didn't they? Or they did they bundled it. They did $100 worth of games or something is what it was.
So they should do something. Hopefully they'll do something like that, or do like a bundle package with Beat Saber and some games like that. Just do something. I mean, it's
Stormlands, Beat Saber.
Yeah, but I don't know if they need to. That's the thing. I don't know if they need to. I think it's going to sell.
I agree. It's going to sell, but you know, stuff like that. Say you go out and buy it, your first experience is going to be that best free game that you got. You're going to be in love with it right off the bat. Like if you go in and play Beat Saber right away, you're like, why haven't I been playing this before?
Right.
You know?
Yeah, and they're getting all new song packs with Panic at the Disco. And I saw that I can't remember how his name is pronounced now, but the one guy from Beat Saber, he was actually had a meeting with YouTube about the copyright music issues and stuff, because he wants people to be able to stream Beat Saber with the songs and stuff and not be demonetized for copyright strikes and all that stuff. So he's been pushing on that front a little bit. So hopefully he has some success there.
I think if they were smart, they would add a couple odd sounds in the beginning, or a couple odd keys that would cancel it out.
Algorithm, something. There has to be something that can be done. But,
I know. Yeah. I know that does suck, because but even watching it flat, you still don't get it. And everybody that's played VR, everybody in our chat, I'm sure can, have that same, connection that you can't experience what you're seeing in flat in VR. Like it just doesn't translate.
Just Pistol Whip. Pistol Whip, Super Hot, perfect examples. They're just something that you just, doesn't even make sense watching it on a screen to a degree until you get inside of the game. And it's like, that's one of the greatest games, still that we have, and even Beat Saber. I feel
bad for people who haven't got to experience stuff like that, because they don't know what it's like, it sucks, but that's how it is. But I guess that's why they have the demo stuff at like Best Buys.
I don't think they still do that. I was going to say,
I don't know if they really are now, which is too bad, because I think a lot of people I've talked to are like, oh yeah, I tried something like that at Best Buy. And I'm like, it's great.
That's the first place I tried a CV1. I tried the Climb, and speaking of the Climb, that's another game that we didn't see come out of OC6 weeks.
I know.
A lot of games were expected to Climb. What's the other digging game? Minecraft. I couldn't think of the word. yeah. Another one we really expected, but we'll see. I'm sure it's coming. But
sure, we know they're working on that at least.
Yeah.
But still. Yep. Yeah. All right. Well.
Yep, I think that pretty much. Myself. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I have my 2 cups of Paradise Decay mug and the Rendered Reality mug, and so. And another thing, make sure you join our Discord. We usually mention that because we got a lot of good conversations going on in there. If you haven't, I'm sure the link is in the description. So.
Yeah, and we do have all the we talked about before. The betas are down in the description, so grab that for Forza Horizon. Because
Forza
it
Horizon,
does not hurt. That's going to be killer when that comes out.
Facebook Horizon, though, not Forza Horizon.
Sorry.
Yeah, you just got everybody excited.
Well, yeah, right? Oh, me too. That would be amazing. I'm going to go back and rewatch that now. That's all. I wish. I so wish. I know. Well, the first time I heard about Facebook Horizon, I'm like, really? They stole it. Like, that's not cool. Like, our favorite open world driving game, they stole the name now. So it happens. That's all right, though. But if you haven't, please hit that like button. We really do appreciate that every time it goes off.
And subscribe to the channel. Definitely helps.
Subscribe to the channel.
Helps us out.
Next, you're going to start seeing some remodels of my VR spaces. So that's coming too. I'm really excited. I've been collecting everything that's going into it right now, and it's going to be tasty.
I still need to do some work on mine. Mine's still a little bit of a disaster. I kind of have some stuff spread around. I still have a box over there that's not been unpacked yet. But I have my play space cleared and my desk is good. But so that's really all I need in VR, but it's definitely has some work I still need to do. I think you
got some dishes back here behind us too. You need to take care of too. I did dishes last time. I'm not doing them again.
Come on, killing me. I'm the one that brewed all the coffee this morning.
Whatever. Whatever. I'm still working on that coffee maker too for the new house. I don't have it yet.
Yeah, you sent me a couple more pictures of stuff that.
I know it's coming.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
But all right, well, we definitely appreciate you being here. Definitely hit that like and subscribe button, and we will probably see you here next week. Next week might be a little different. I'm gonna probably be back in Ohio next week, so you might have to have some kind of makeshift VR place for us to do a show. I'm not sure how we're gonna do this yet.
Yeah, this is gonna be interesting, man. All right,
so
well,
we'll figure it out.
Some location-based VR streaming, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, we could do that. We could actually do that.
That would be.
We could go. Awesome. We could go to Panera and take our quests with us, and that'd be
right.
Sweet.
Too many other. Well, that's true. We could just let people try it behind us.
Yeah, they could just be playing. Yeah, falling over stuff, and be great.
That would be right. Until we get too distracted because our headsets are smashed. Right.
True that. But,
all right, we're rambling. We're sorry, guys.
Sorry.
Good hanging out with you guys. We'll see you back here, or see you in VR as always.
Yep. See you guys
later, guys.
Later.